Welcome in everybody to the Brett Allen Show. Today we're chatting with Rachel and Cathy, two more of the stars of, let's see if I can do it right, My Best Friend's Exorcism. This is a great show dropping September 30th on Prime Video. Thank you both so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Thank you.
This is a tale of different stories. It's very multifaceted. Your co-star put it this way: the best thing to learn from this is don't do acid, go skinny dipping, and then go into a haunted house. That's not really giving too much away. Rachel, we'll start with you. You've been a part of a lot of great projects. What interested you the most in this and made you decide that you wanted to commit your time to it?
For sure. I think that from the moment I read the sides, I was intrigued, of course, by the time period, and I got to read the cabin scene first, and there was sort of this kinetic energy between these four girls having this hangout, and I kind of just wanted to be a part of that, getting to see four girls in the 80s have this friendship, all from different backgrounds, all from, different ethnicities and things like that, sort of coming together and having these complex relationships. I felt like Margaret was not just a placeholder, which was really big to me. I could see that she had a lot of depth on her own, and she's, even the one who owns the cabin, and she has, this lavish lifestyle set up for her, even though she, is sort of built on a false sense of confidence. And so just seeing all that layeredness in someone who isn't even the main character in the film just completely drew me to it. I could tell that it was being put together by creators, and then I found out it was book, a creator who truly cares about every character in the book and now in the film. And so just being a part of a project where you can tell everyone loves what they're doing and cares about the storytelling is just what initially draws me to any project. So that is why I definitely wanted to be in this film.
Yes, and you brought up a very good point. And Cathy, I want to hear from you on this. That's the thing, is like oftentimes when these books get turned into films or limited series or whatever the case might be, it's not that characters are competing for each other, but one might drive the story more than the other, and one might be a placeholder like you suggested, but both of your characters, all of your characters, that's not the case. Like everybody has equal playing field on this. Cathy, again, your character is great, very interesting and unique. I think all of them are. How did you approach this? Had you read the books or the book prior to booking this? And if you did, how did you decide you were going to play this out? And if not, what was your approach to building your character in this great story?
Yeah, so I hadn't read the book beforehand, but I will say that they made some significant changes to Glee, and I feel like her story arc, specifically with who her love interest is, actually, there's a lot in this character that I felt like was really wonderful to be represented on screen right now. I hadn't really seen, an Asian American girl who is very conservative and embraces kind of her conservative upbringing in many ways in this Catholic school. And she's in the 80s, but she realizes that she doesn't fit into the mold. I'm trying not to spoil. I'm going to spoil it. I think it's really exciting to see someone who's a young Asian girl who's gay on screen in the 80s.
There you go. I mean, this will be out by the time the show is out, so you're
fine.
Okay.
I hadn't seen that. And so that drew me in, and I'm glad that they made that change. And I think that, we still got to see at the heart of her character that is in both the book and now the movie. Like, she's a loyal, supportive friend, and she loves really hard. And even, you'll watch the movie, but I think that is a power of hers, and it's exciting to watch just four young girls rely on each other and lift each other up eventually.
I was gonna say eventually. No, that's fine. I don't think you gave away too much. I think that could be deduced. I've seen it before today, so it's good. Okay, one last question. This takes place in the 80s. I actually grew up in the 80s. And very familiar. So, Rachel, what is one thing from the 80s that you were not familiar with, or that you found fascinating or interesting, or maybe you were familiar with? I don't know.
I think that what I find most fascinating about the 80s, or really just any time like pre 2010 maybe, is like the lack of phones and social media. I think that it was just a completely different
No
world,
cell phone.
and there it goes. And just like the way people interacted, like I really would love to go back to the 80s and like go to a roller rink on like a Friday night, or like a bowling alley, or just somewhere where there's like a collective community, you know, like these suburban communities in the 80s, which is like where our film is set. It's like there's this constant, you know, you're around people all the time, and that's where things sort of fall into different ways, versus now it's like things are on social media or like online, and people aren't necessarily forced to be around their community. And I think that with social media, these four characters might not be friends at this school, you know, but because they're forced to sort of be with people that maybe they're not similar to, or, you know, be in this sort of isolated space together, I guess what I'm trying to say. I think that's super cool. And I think that that's sort of where our film comes to life.
Yes, my first job at 16 was at a roller derby, roller rink.
Love
so
it.
I was a DJ, wicka wicka. All right, one last question. Cathy, how about you? What was like something fun for you that you sort of picked up from the 80s that you maybe were or were not familiar with? No Snapchat, no cell phones.
I mean, I definitely feel like I was familiar with 80s music, and also generally familiar with the like idea of the fashion. But I think actually being able to put it on my body every day for a while, well, you know, sometimes also uniform, but general, like when I got to choose what I was wearing for that day, like it was very exciting, the vibrancy of it. And I've tried to take that into my life, because I think color and shape, and you know, even the play between like masculine and feminine shape and look, I think like really was a wonderful thing in the 80s. And I feel like I wish that was easier for all of us to just embrace, because you express yourself a lot through it.
Yeah, very good answers. I'm very impressed. Well, you both do just a fantastic job. I cannot wait for people to watch this September 30th on Prime Video. My Best Friend's Exorcism. It's great for spooky season, as we are coming upon it here very soon. Thank you both so much for your time, and congratulations on all of your much well-deserved success.
Thank you.
Thank you.